just a thing, and I'll double check with our listeners. Hopefully you can hear me now. Somebody will tell me in just a moment. And Matt's gone already. He's back. Fantastic. Yes, so you've got the... I'll repeat what I said then.
It was very moving.
Anybody could hear me, I'm afraid.
We laughed.
That was quite good.
We laughed, we cried.
Wonder if I can make my joke the second time.
Just as hard the second time, don't worry.
You couldn't even make it the first time.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
So it begins.
No worries. So we'll consider that last one a dress rehearsal. So the USS Livingston, a Defiant class vessel with a difference. The year is 2380, so the Defiant class space frame has been around for some time. But this is actually a prototype variant of the Defiant class. It's a bit sturdier. It's slightly larger, although not much, but to compensate for basically being overpowered. And the hope is within Starfleet that they'll be able to use the space frame for exploration, rescue missions, more normal Starfleet stuff rather than just blowing shit up, which is what it was previously designed for. On board the USS Livingston, you have sat in the captain's chair a rather attractive middle-aged Denobulan woman by the name of Cpt Liera, and you have a number of other senior officers sat around the bridge as the ship cruises through at warp. As Cpt Liera looks ahead of her at the Conn station, she sees her first officer. Ed, would you like to tell everyone who Cpt Liera sees before her?
She sees before her her commander, Commander Eelin Wraal from Trill. He's been on board the ship approximately 6 months. He's only a fairly recent addition to the crew, allocated to Cpt Liera, but they've been getting on quite well over the past 6 months and getting to know their new charge. And they're looking forward to meeting 3 new senior officers who've been recently allocated to the ship.
Absolutely, and one of those senior officers is stood on bridge at the moment, even though that wouldn't normally be his position on board. Stood just off to the left of the captain, with his big blue coat and his white boots to show all the blood. Who stood there, Matt?
This is Lieutenant Commander Bosh. He's a Ferengi. A little bit taller than sort of average for a Ferengi, but still quite short in compared to the rest of the crew. And he's, yes, your Chief Medical Officer. This is his first run out with this crew. Been on a few ships beforehand, but nothing really of this caliber.
Indeed. And in front, so more towards the front of the ship, sat at a station, ready to blow things up at random. We have, of course, our Tactical and Security Officer. Usher, who do we have?
You have Lieutenant Commander Lee Varren. He is a human. He's got dark hair. He has a large beard, and he's probably early 40s, I would assume. He is. This is his first outing on, as Ed said, a ship of this caliber. He's been in Starfleet for a number of years doing various things, and he had a previous life being an engineer before this. So he's excited and happy to be here.
Fantastic. And coming round to the starboard side of the bridge, it's not all lieutenant commanders, is it? Somebody's got to be the Wesley. Amy, who do we have on the starboard side of the bridge?
So,
Shut up, Amy.
all the way through.
Maybe a world record.
Okay, so I'm playing Davok, who is a Vulcan, and surprisingly, he's the science officer on the ship. He is not very used to doing anything in space. This is his first time out, and he's just not really sure what's going to happen. So we'll just have to find out.
If he ever gets to speak.
Yeah, he might not get to speak. I don't know. Not if Bosh has his way.
We will find out. And our episode begins, as so many episodes begin, with a captain's log. And Captain Liera begins. Stardate 57073.5. We are en route to Starbase 80 from the pleasure planet Risa, where we have just picked up several new crew members. I've had the entire ship sanitized because, well, no, what happens on Risa stays on Risa, as we all know.
God.
But I did make sure that all my senior officers got a Horgan of their own. I'm looking forward to getting to know these new crew members as we move forward in our mission. And Captain Liera looks around at all of you, and obviously she's been reading your files and your records, and she knows quite a bit about your history. And she turns to her first officer, Eelin, and says, "Now I believe the four of you already know each other from the academy. I know you were a more senior cadet at the time, there, Eelin. But I imagine that you must have some interesting stories for the four of you from your academy days. And indeed, you all cast your minds back to those heady days when you were cadets at Starfleet Academy. And we fade into the mists of memory. And you find yourselves standing in a lobby at Starfleet. Ed, if you can check your Discord and read what I've sent you, if you can read it, I hope you can.
Cadet's log. Stardate 52499.8. Today begins the moment that my years of academy training have been leading up to, the Kobayashi Maru test. This is the test that will determine if I am able and competent enough to command a starship of my own. I am, in a word, terrified, but I know that I need to show a strong front, especially for the newer cadets assigned by the instructors. Many before me have taken this test, and now it's my moment. Hopefully, I can make history today.
So, you are all stood, as I say, in a lobby of Starfleet Academy, preparing for the Kobayashi Maru test. Eelin is the senior cadet, final year at the academy. The rest of you are earlier on than that. And yes, you are waiting waiting to be ushered in to the test. What did you all do back then?
What did we all do when?
Back then, back in the academy.
Oh, God. Well, I assume fail this test.
I feel you're jumping ahead a little there.
It's not a test you're supposed to survive in virtual form.
Would we even know that? Is that something that's like well known around Starfleet?
Yeah.
Before you take the test?
Fairly well known, although students see it as a bit of pride to try and beat the system anyway, to be the first to find a solution to the no-win scenario.
Okay. I should preface and mention that it's not Lee Varren that knows nothing about Star Trek. It's Usher, who is only made it through his first season. I did watch First Contact last night, when I fell asleep, and I remember none of it. So I have very little to go on. Anyways, moving on.
So you've all been stood outside the simulator on your pads revising then, especially Mr. Varren.
I'm going to pretend I know what that means.
We only have to save 120, right?
We haven't done that well in simulators so far.
I heard that 102 is the score to beat.
Oh,
I'm sure you can beat that. Eelin, I have no qualms about your abilities whatsoever.
Well, as long as we get more than 38, I'll be happy.
Oh, I think you'll breeze through that. Not a problem at all.
We'll do that gracefully.
As you're saying this, a cadet who is wiry, red-headed, and looking quite nervous approaches you all and says, "Oh, hello there. I'm Cadet Eric. Which of you is Eelin?"
That's me, Eric.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I was told to report to you. I'm going to be your Conn officer. On the test. Yeah. Do you know? Yeah.
Great. How many times have you taken this test? Have you assisted one of these simulations before?
Oh no. This will be my first time, and I think it's going to be yes the best.
What exactly did you fly before these, Eric?
Well, I don't fly anything. I'm a cadet, so I've been studying and learning like everyone else.
Oh, I just love pilots who come to the academy to learn how to fly and have never flown before.
There is something. I mean, you can tell he's very nervous, but perhaps some of you, it might seem a little bit strangely nervous. You can all. This is going to be our first task of the evening. You can all give me an insight and security task.
Okay.
Roll. This is a difficulty of 1, so we're going to roll. We're going to work out first of all what the figure is to beat. So if you add up on your sheets your insight and your security scores, that'll give you the target that you need to roll under or meet.
Okay.
So it's going to be
13.
a different amount for each of you. And then if you roll 2d20, you can add extra dice if you want by adding momentum. Although, as it stands at this point, you don't have any momentum.
We're just still.
So
yeah.
I roll that, and the combined dice need to be
No,
under.
each dice needs to. Well, one of those 2 dice need to be under or meet whatever the score is.
Okay.
A 1 counts as 2 successes.
I have 1 success.
I have 2 successes.
I have
I had
2 successes.
2 successes for me as well.
Okay, so
I took it 20 if that means anything.
you rolled a 20. 20 is the exact opposite of a success because you need to be rolling under the score.
Oh, in that case, I completely failed.
Okay. And indeed, you
Makes
get a
sense.
complication. So, as a Vulcan, it's almost impossible to tell with these humans what it is that they're feeling, thinking. It's you haven't really spent that much time around humans, so you can't even tell that he's nervous, to be honest.
No, he looks fine to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but everyone else you rolled under or met, and we got 2 success from some of you. So you have gained 2 momentum from that, which is good.
Yep.
But it has wiped out poor Davok on trying to read him. So what you're able to ascertain is he keeps looking down at his data pad while he's talking. He's clearly got something on his mind that he keeps checking, and whenever he thinks nobody's looking, he seems to be refreshing himself on some information on his data pad. Very little that you can check from there.
Okay.
Oh, Cadet, how long have you been with us?
I've been at the academy for 3 years now.
I see.
Yeah, how long have you been here?
Well, I mean, this is year 4 of training, but I did do a year at Starfleet Medical.
Hi, you don't see many Ferengis here, do you? Ferengis here, get it? Anyway, and just at that point, an elderly Vulcan walks over to the 5 of you and introduces himself as Lieutenant Sook. Says, I shall be your instructor for the Kobayashi Maru test. I will be a silent observer. I cannot give you any help or direction once the test begins. I will simply be taking notes on my data pad as you progress. Do you all understand?
Yes, sir. Our crew is ready to begin.
Good. If you should pass, you'll be allowed to graduate, Mr. Wraal, and serve as a member of Starfleet's elite command track. The rest of you shall all receive merits on your academy records. Not everyone, however, possesses the capabilities needed to be a captain in Starfleet, but this is your first step in a very long journey. You have 10 minutes to prepare, then follow me inside and we shall begin. And he walks off.
Thank you, sir.
And he's gone.
And it's an honour to...
Are we able to use some momentum to ask Eric the direct question as to what he's doing with that pad?
Absolutely. You can use 1 momentum. I've got momentum tokens that I'm using, by the way, for that. And what would you like to ask him specifically?
Eric, what is it you're fiddling about with that pad? We're about to take a test here, and you seem particularly distracted.
Oh, what pad? Oh, this pad. Oh no, it's just a letter from me from my mum. It's just a good luck thing, and he quickly presses it, and any writing that was on the screen disappears.
Is there
it
any
is very obvious.
Of like a...
Yeah, he is lying. You don't even need to make a roll. I mean, the fact you spent momentum to get that, I'm more than happy to tell it. He is absolutely lying.
Well, just in the future, is there an equivalent of like an insight check in D&D or something along those lines?
There are. It varies depending on the particular situation.
Okay.
But really, I mean, I'd hit the nail on the... You would spend a momentum to get a question answered.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in doing that, we can ask the GM basically a direct question about the situation in or out of character, and we are required to get a truthful answer.
Oh.
Which might seem like I've done a thing which is against the rules, but there's a reason.
No, it's fine.
See rule 1.
What?
Just my momentum questions are always going to be like, am I going to survive this? It's just going to be like, probably not.
All I'll say is, Eric, you sit in that con chair, you listen for my instructions, and you do them. I do not expect any errors from you. I'm a con officer myself. I expect you to be equal to my abilities. Do not mess this up for us.
It's going to whisper to Bosh and just be like, God, he sounds kind of like a dick.
Right, sir, but I think you might have misheard me. I didn't say con, I said comms. I'm your communications officer, that's right.
Well, get into comms and keep out of our way.
Yes, sir.
I
I think he is a dick.
I'll lean over to both of them and say, rule of acquisition 33, it never hurts to suck up to the boss.
Right. Okay, he's just nervously, he's sat fidgeting. He doesn't really know what to do with himself. He doesn't know to sit down, stand up. Doesn't know what to do with his hands.
As far as preparation, is there anything that we can actually do mechanically to prepare, or is that just more of a story situation?
There's nothing I can think of myself.
Sorry,
However,
Chris is typing in chat.
Yes, Eric's the Sigourney Weaver of the crew. Yeah, there's nothing I can think of, but I mean that's the great thing about role-playing games in general. It's about what you can think of. So if you can think of anything to do, throw it at me.
Other than make fun of Ed, I had nothing else.
Oh.
I feel completely prepared.
There is always the task of cleaning out the filter on the holodeck.
Oh, God. I've seen what happens in those holodecks.
Yeah. Seen but not told. This is the correct way of doing it.
Fantastic. Well,
I suppose as senior cadet, I'll just say to others, you all know your positions. You all know what it is you're going to be doing in here. You're all looking forward to gaining some extra credits.
Yeah.
Aye, sir.
Yes.
Good.
That's good.
I think we can do this. This has been, remember, there's no way to win this, but we can show our best side and we can do our best at it. Remember, 102 is the score to beat. No pressure. But I want that trophy.
102. The rules of acquisition is 102. Nature decays, but latinum lasts forever. It's a good rule.
If we beat 102, I'll have them inscribe it on the Kobayashi Maru's dedication plaque.
I know a guy actually that can do some.
Of course you do.
Yeah, he does beautiful work.
So mechanically, as the cadet in command, what stations have you issued to your crew?
Right. Actually, as I'm taking this test, I will be in the commander's chair. I'll have to divvy up the other roles accordingly. Yes.
Yes. Now you can place any of the crew anywhere you like. Any unfilled positions will actually be filled by holograms.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, let's take knowing my fellow junior cadets as they are. Mr. Varren, I'd like you to take tactical, please.
Understood.
Davok to science station when we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, comms, and do sing out if you've got anything coming in. I want to be able to hear stuff.
Right.
And don't look so nervous.
I'll try.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're talking to Eric. Oh, my
Eric,
God.
yeah, don't look so nervous. The rest of you stop looking so nervous as well. They're not actually going to kill us in there. They're just going to try to kill us.
Rule of acquisition is 62. The riskier the road, the greater the profit.
Mr. Bosh.
This has already become annoying.
As you should be. I realise that there was no specific medical bay on the simulation bridge, but would you like to take a station at the bridge and assist with damage control, and specifically with the crew damage if that comes in?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Also, I may need you to take over and assist any of the other crew members as the simulation continues. Right? All ready?
Aye.
Ready to
It
enter?
means Eric.
For the purposes of this, ops would be a good place to look after damage control. It's also where you can keep a monitor on things like how many people have been injured and where and that sort
Perfect.
of
Then
thing.
operations, please, Mr. Bosh.
Would be a good call. Okay, are you ready to proceed inside?
Let's go and get that trophy.
Okay, you go through the doors and you enter what is essentially a large holodeck. Lieutenant Sork is already there, and the entire room, as you all step inside and the door closes and disappears behind you, the entire walls, ceiling and floor all shimmer and fade and change as we end scene 1.
Yay!
Yay! Well done.
We made it.
All right.
We got in.
We're going.
They let us in.
We're doing well.
We're going straight through to scene 2, but scene changes are quite important for one particular mechanical rule, which is that you lose 1 momentum. So you had 1 momentum left.
And we
I'm
lost
having that.
Off it goes. my green momentum indicator dice. Goodbye.
Yeah,
We hardly knew you.
indeed. Okay, so where are we?
Chris, we are in the DS9. It is 2380, I believe, currently.
Yes, it's absolutely.
Well-
It's set 1 year after Star Trek Nemesis.
Although it isn't currently, because we're back in
Flashback episode.
flashback
Yes,
episode.
this is a memory. This is a memory of some years before. Fantastic. So as we proceed into scene 2, Ed, would you access your Discord and read out what has just been sent to you there, please?
Cadet's log, supplemental. We've begun the Kobayashi Maru scenario. I'm nervous. This will be my first, but hopefully not last time in the captain's chair. We don't know what to expect, but I suppose we're ready as we can be.
And the walls all form around you to present the bridge of a Hermes-class ship. Lieutenant Sork explains to you that this is the bridge of the USS Grumman, a Hermes-class multi-role explorer starship. She is armed with phaser banks and a tractor beam. She has shields, obviously, but she has basic shields. That's pretty much all you need to know for now. The stations are waiting for you.
Very good. Crew, take stations, please.
Aye, sir.
Davok just went straight up.
Everyone comfortable?
And Eric takes a seat in the comms station.
Eric,
Yes, sir.
smile. Smile.
It's not a pretty smile. It's got to be said.
Eric, don't smile.
Well,
It's great. I've got my own whipping boy already.
It's already brutal. This kid's gonna cry. You had your cadet's log. His cadet's log is just gonna be crying.
I lean over to Davok and just say, rule of acquisition 48. The bigger the smile, the sharper the knife.
Roll my eyes.
And raise a pointed eyebrow.
along with the pointed ear. Yeah.
Don't have those.
We'll get you some.
I believe I would probably indicate to, is it Commander Sork, did you say? Or
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Sork, I would indicate to him that we're as ready as we'll ever be. Let's begin. Let's get it over with.
Very well. If you have familiarized yourselves with the controls.
Got the overlay on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got my VR helmet. Hang on. I'm still on mouse and keyboard here.
The simulation shall begin, and there's a slight shimmer from the walls as you sense. Suddenly, you get a sense of movement. The ship is now at warp. There's an alert coming in to Eric's control panel, and he pushes a couple of buttons and says, Captain, we've received an emergency communication from the Kobayashi Maru. They've lost power and are stranded on the edge of the neutral zone. They're drifting into Romulan territory and request immediate assistance.
Eric, bring up data on Kobayashi Maru with the ship's computer, please.
I can, but I'm at the comms panel.
My apologies. Can you get through to them on communications? Advise them that we are en route.
Okay, and Eric will start attempting to do so.
I believe I will probably use operations to deal with details on that, or science. I know, beg your pardon, Mr. Davok.
Yes.
Could you look in the ship's computer, please, and give us information on Kobayashi Maru?
Absolutely.
Also, I'd like to know last known departure and flight path, please.
Yes.
Okay, I will work out what you will need to roll for that. Bear with me 1 second. So for anybody watching, this is the first time any of us have played this game, so there may be a little bit stop-start at times, just so you are aware. So this is going to be an insight, really science. I'm going to say insight and command check, but you will be assisted by the computer.
Okay.
It's
difficulty 0, but I'm going to allow the roll just so you can get some momentum.
Okay, just the one, yeah?
So you will be rolling 2d20.
Okay.
You'll be getting an additional one that I will roll for the ship itself. This is going to be computers.
I need to get under 11. Oh, yeah, I did. I got 2 successes.
Okay, fantastic.
Ship also remember that if you roll specifically equal to or under the discipline that you were using, that also counts as 2 successes.
So
yes.
if I roll under insight score, that's 2.
Sorry, no. Was it insight and science? What was it?
Command.
Oh, command.
So that was 11 in total. I had 10 in insight and 1 in command.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So you'd need to score specific to get anything better. You'd need to roll. If you rolled a 1, because that's equal to or under your command, which is like the discipline that you're using, as well as your attribute, that also counts as 2 successes. So, for example, if you're doing something sciencey, and say your science up like 5, if you rolled anything underneath the combined total, that's a success. But if any of the dice roll a 5 or less, and you're using science, if you're really good at science, that counts as 2 as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've got that right, Jim. Not trying to.
No, you're absolutely right. As my understanding goes, but a 1 is automatically 2 successes anyway. Yeah.
Super good. We want to see lots of 1s, please.
Yeah.
And if Bosh knows anyone who can get us some dice that always roll lots of 1s, I've got a supply of platinum if he's got the contact.
Fantastic. So yes, you do have a success.
We'll have a box that just says "absolutely not loaded dice."
You know that the Kobayashi Maru is a civilian freighter. It's an older ship with minimal defences. It's got pulse lasers for defence. It has no shields to speak of. It has a polarising hull rather than shields.
Excellent. So they won't be able to last very long if they're out in the Badlands in any sort of bad situation. I'll just mention to Eric to immediately. I beg your pardon. Eric was in Conn.
Communications.
Communications. I beg your pardon.
He does respond.
In that case, do we have a holographic Conn officer?
You do have a holographic Conn.
In that case, I'll say Conn, set course to intercept Kobayashi Maru, maximum warp.
Okay, and Ensign Wraal does in fact start entering in the navigation. Eric does turn to you and say, I've been trying to contact them, but no response. The signal appears to be being jammed for some reason.
Excellent. Marvellous. That means there's some trouble ahead, I suspect. Tactical.
Yes.
What is our
Sorry.
phase?
Yes, sir.
So I run. It depends on my mood. I might run a fairly casual bridge, or I might make you stand up.
Just thinking about how you've been whipping poor Eric, and I'm just like, oh God, please not me. Okay. Yes, sir.
Eric is basically like the first year who we're all going to gang up on. But think of all the experience he's going to be gaining for this. This is character building for him. He's going to be a fine captain one day.
You do realize he's going to quit after this.
He's going to join the Orion Syndicate and be all right. Just could you, Mr. Varren, could you give us an update on our phaser status and torpedoes, if possible?
Absolutely. And then out of character, I'm going to ask how the fuck I would sorry. What would I say to that? What would the board tell me?
It would tell you that phasers are charged. You can they're offline at the moment, but you can make them online with the push of a button.
Okay.
It takes 3 seconds for them to charge. But they are fully operational. Sorry, it was phasers, and what was the other thing?
And torpedoes, if we have them.
Torpedoes.
Not.
There are no torpedoes on this ship.
So I will say, command. The commander in this scenario, correct?
Mm-hmm. You would refer to him as captain.
Captain.
Despite being a cadet, the person in the captain's chair is always called captain.
Okay, I would say, Captain, our phasers are currently offline but functioning fully. We do not currently have torpedoes in this simulation.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Varren. Stand by. We will be using you very soon, I'm sure.
Understood. I'm trying to get my professional voice down. My, on the con. Got it.
Okay. Lieutenant Sork is stood at the back of the bridge and makes a few notes into his data pad. Is there anything else you would like to do before you are due to arrive at the neutral zone?
I think we would just check with Helm and the Helm navigation and say updated ETA to Kobayashi Maru, please.
We should be arriving, sir, in 2 minutes.
Excellent. Sick bay, stand by to receive possible survivors of a shipboard incident.
I'm going to get you, Ed, to make a roll for the con officer. Please give me a reason and con roll with a difficulty of 1.
Okay. Right, I've got scored a 12 and a 3. Now, is that with my own con?
Yes, using your own figures, please.
Okay, so reason and con together will be 13. So I've made, and con skill is 4. So that 3 gets done to. That's 3 successes.
3 successes. Fantastic. So you gain 2 more momentum.
I can fly a plane.
You're up to 4 momentum, which is fantastic. And yes, and indeed, you arrive exactly where you plan to. You drop out of warp just this side of the Romulan neutral zone. You can see the Kobayashi Maru dead in space ahead of you.
Excellent. Eric, still no messages from Kobayashi Maru. Still jamming?
No, still trying them, but no response.
Very good. Helm, lay in direct course for Kobayashi Maru. Full impulse power. Okay. Tactical, raise shields, arm phasers, please.
Yes, Captain.
Lieutenant Sork looks around at all of you, then makes a note on his datapad.
So Davok, scan Kobayashi Maru. I'd like to see how many survivors are on board.
Yes, Captain.
Okay, this is a difficulty 0 to scan the Kobayashi Maru.
Build that momentum up. No, you had the right one there, Mr. Varren. The red alert. I'll call that if I see anything.
I have just made that. Sorry.
Davok, your scan it shows that the Kobayashi Maru has already drifted into the neutral zone. Let me see what else you can.
It's just trying to be proactive.
There, you detect the ship is currently without power, and you detect 15 life signs. However, they are starting to fade as the ship has no life support with it having no power.
How many was that, sorry?
15.
15. Oh, we're not going to beat this.
Like I'm going to let you beat my score on start.
I mean, I would hope and imagine that there is like some sort of like a percentage thing as well, a percentage of the so in some simulations maybe it's a massive passenger liner, it's like 1,000 on board.
I'll relay that back.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davok. And estimated time to Kobayashi Maru?
At full impulse, you can get there in less than a minute.
Excellent.
48 seconds.
Very good. Operations. How are we set for receiving survivors? And do we have transporters ready to beam survivors aboard?
You do indeed have transporter capability. There is a 30-second cycle on transporters, and you can transport a maximum of 6 people at a time. However, you don't need to make any rolls to know that whilst the shields are up, which they currently are, you can't transport.
No transporty, right.
You also need to be closer than you are.
Okay. In that case, I'll advise the Conn officer to move us close to the Kobayashi Maru, which I believe should be, that would be that could be a role for them which would build momentum, or are you happy to just allow us to get in closer?
No, that's I'm more than happy to allow it. There is a pause in this. It's a fractional pause, maybe half a second, but noticeable in the system. And the Conn officer turns to you and says, "Sir, it is my duty to inform you that crossing the neutral zone violates the treaty with the Romulans."
Thank you, Conn. I'm well aware of my obligations. Those are Federation citizens and they need our help.
Understood.
Speaking specifically so that Mr. Sork can hear that.
And indeed, you see him make a note in his data pad. Right.
It's the apple for the teacher, that one. Or it might not be. Who knows?
I was going to say, you're just going to get us canned. We're going to cut back to the Defiant. It's going to be like, none of you actually graduated Starfleet, but that was okay. We still bought you on the black market.
You see Conn's hand hovering over the engage button, waiting for confirmation to proceed.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're about to do, but people's lives are at stake. We have to do our duty. Conn, activate.
And he pushes
All
the
right,
button.
Activate is the word.
Activate. And he pushes the button, and you start approaching the neutral zone. It becomes fairly clear that you would need to cross into the neutral zone to get close enough to operate the transporters.
I think actually I would say, Mr. Davok, if you have sensors at Science Station.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I think I'm trying to remember myself. Yes, it should. If you can inquire of our engineers, put some more power into sensors, I don't trust a Romulan neutral zone that's empty.
Yes. Does that happen, or do I need to roll for it?
Sorry, it broke up a little bit for me there. What is it you're trying to do?
Might I make a suggestion, Captain?
Go ahead, Mr. Bosh.
If we launch a probe, that would give us a little bit of a boost to our sensors and might distract anything that might be out there.
And that's an excellent idea. If you can make that happen, Mr. Bosh, please make that happen.
The time it would take to prepare a probe, you estimate that at least half the crew will be dead from asphyxiation.
Okay. In that case, let's use that and put that power into engines and give us all speed to Conn. Let's get in close to that ship. Thank you for the suggestion, Mr. Bosh. Good thinking there. Your cousin doesn't own the manufacturers of the probes, does he, by any chance?
No, sir. But it's probably a good investment. I'll make some inquiries.
And Lieutenant Suck makes a note on his data pad. Conn speaks.
Recommended for Federation Economic Corps.
Now entering Romulan neutral zone, sir.
Cancel that alarm, please.
And
Voices in my ear.
as you do so, ahead of you is the Kobayashi Maru, and to either side and just beyond it, 3 Romulan Deredex warships are decloaking. We are into combat situation, folks.
The big ones as well.
The big ones, the ones that dwarf the Enterprise D, and you're in a little poxy ship that's way out of date.
Yeah, we have teeth though.
Not in this one. We
You really don't.
I'm trying to be positive. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we do all have teeth, hopefully.
We've got sort of gums at best in this.
I was like, I have just phasers. Okay. Phasers and shields, and then it is, and we also can't have shields. So.
As they are decloaking, security, tactical. I would like you to make me a control and either engineering or security roll with a difficulty of 1.
So it'll be control. Okay.
You can use your espionage focus to get an extra D20 on this roll.
And would that be at the expense of a momentum to get an extra focus?
No, you get to roll. Well, you'll get an extra success, so you still roll your 2d20, and you'll get an extra success.
Okay. In which case, I will go ahead and roll 2d20 on that. It's DC. It's 13 or below for that. So I got a 1 success and 1 fail. So I'll take it as 2 successes with the extra espionage.
Okay. So with 2 successes, what you notice is that certain backup systems are being accessed with functions being transferred to communications. And it's odd. That's not normal.
I'm sorry. So that one more time. It was different than what?
So backup systems, certain backup systems are being accessed, and their function, so the control of these backup systems is being transferred to communications.
On our ship and their ship?
On your ship.
I'm going to relay that information to the captain with the highest priority.
You're going to say it out loud, are you? Call it across the bridge.
Yes, I am going to call it across the bridge. That access, thing rerouted. Whatever you said. I'm still learning the terminology, so it's...
Okay. No problem. Let's find out what happens afterwards, because, as I say, we've got 3 Deredex Romulan warbirds decloaking. You get to go first. Because they are decloaking, we're not going to roll on this occasion. So, for anybody watching this, ordinarily in this game, the GM, me, gets to pick who goes first in any combat. We have agreed a house rule that ordinarily we're actually going to roll for it. Except in certain circumstances like this one, as the ships are decloaking, it's going to give you the opportunity to do something whilst that is happening. What would you like to do?
I think it is that probably the first thing we do is try to either create an advantage or use some sort of maneuver which will put us into a position that makes it more difficult for them to hit us in the ensuing rounds, if you see what I mean. So my strategy would be to probably use Helm first of all to create us our advantages and give us our momentum, and that momentum can then be spent by tactical to do more damage, or by operations to perhaps get those transporters moving faster.
You currently have 5 points of momentum.
Am I able to use an override action?
Ooh, interesting. To do what?
So I can attempt to take a task from somebody else, but what I want to do is try and push the guy off comms and take his position.
You mean physically pull him out of the chair?
Relieve him of duty, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah,
Okay.
please.
Wow.
Please let this happen.
Hey, I'm loving this.
As I'm just sat in the chair, I'm quite happy for that just to happen and you tell me about it whilst you're doing it, especially as Mr. Varren has just basically shouted that over, that he's doing something with the computer, and Bosh just like actions on it.
Yeah, I feel like if the information is that comms was getting energy diverted to them in some way that is not the right way, and I shouted that, then Bosch's immediate reaction could be to... I don't actually know how the rules of the game work. All I'm saying is, in my head, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so I'm going to sort of treat this a little bit like an unarmed strike, but without damage, basically. So, yeah, if you make a control and security roll for me, this is going to be... Sorry, daring and security.
Chris just said Eric is sus.
Yeah, make a daring and security roll. Difficulty 2.
I'm really happy you picked up on that, because I totally forgot that Eric was in comms. And so I was just like, this seems bad, so I'm just going to yell it.
You could have sent me a text discreetly, and I could have sort of raised my eyebrows at it. But yeah, shout it. Why not?
We're the Romulans are here. We're all screwed. So whatever.
3 Romulan warbirds. Yeah.
It's not the point to give you like the discreet text.
Now, look on Matt's face. Has Bosh just fallen over trying to get out of his chair?
2 failures.
With 2 failures. So this, I made this. I'm probably making rules up as I go here, but I actually made it an opposed roll, and he did get 1 success in opposed. So you try and drag him away. Humans, of course, are that little bit bigger and perhaps a little bit stronger than most Ferengi. So yeah, you're unable to drag him out of the seat, although he looks really shocked that you would be trying to do so. And indeed, he looks quite terrified. So coming back to the ship then, so Ed, you wanted to do something with Helm first of all.
I think what we do is if I tell Helm to make take evasive maneuvers, steer us towards Kobayashi Maru. So basically I'm telling the helmsman to take an evasive pattern but still moving in to close our range to get the transporters. The idea being we get in, dodging, drop the shields, grab some people, shields back up, and then round for another swoop. Okay,
I'll get you to make this roll again for Conn, please. Give me a control and Conn roll. Difficulty 1. You'll get assistance from the ship, which I will roll. This is going to be engines and Conn. So.
This is like the system so far.
Okay, I've got 3 successes there. That's a 7 on one dice, a 3 on another. My con value is 4, so the 3 counts as 2 successes.
Okay, and you get
roll.
another success from the assistance with the computer. However, you've already got 5 momentum. You can only have 1 more.
Well, anything we store up, we can use immediately. And if we don't, then it ditches. So we can generate more. So we've got 5. Anything we generate now, we have to burn it, and then we can only store up to 6.
Yeah, you've now got 6.
Hmm.
With that successful, and yes, Conn does maneuver you closer to using an erratic flight pattern.
Come on, everybody. The shakes in the right. That's it.
Just everybody go left.
Left.
Some people are reverse. So no. Everyone go down.
Obviously, Bosh and communications are a little bit busy tussling. What would you like tactical and science to do?
Well, having done that, I think if we're within range, tactical, drop shields and coordinate with transporters. I want the first 6 beamed off that ship as quickly as possible.
Okay. Opsis transporters. Out of character. Opsis transporters. And Bosh is still in a seat even after he...
So it is possible to operate transporters from the science station.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that then.
Yeah.
I'll say, Captain, sending them to you, Davok, dropping shields on your mark.
Just so you are aware, you do know before you issue this command that you won't have time to raise the shields before the Romulans get to act.
Yeah, that's why I did the evasive maneuver, because that makes their attack on us more difficult.
It does. It does.
Mechanically, for those who...
And if Varren, if Cadet Varren knows that, he's keeping his fucking mouth shut because the captain told him to do something.
Yeah.
He's gonna do it.
He's telling him, it's stupid.
Yeah. He's just like, slams his head against the transfer. There's a button to lower shields, and he just hits it with his head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say it's coming to you, Davok, whenever you're ready, on your mark.
Lowering shields, I'm going to say, is a minor action, so you can do a major action as well from tactical.
Major action would be, I guess, prepare phasers, even though he hasn't told me to.
He did tell you to charge phasers.
Well, in which case I would have. Okay, if they are charged, then is there a readied action? Can I ready an action to fire phasers when he mentions it?
Yes, you can.
All right, I will do that, and then as my minor action, I will drop shields and let Davok know that shields are dropped.
So if you're readying an action to fire, presumably you are targeting one of the 3 vessels, and counting from port to starboard. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Which one would you like to target with your ready action?
Depending on which one is closest, I assume that would be a decent way to target. Now, that might not be what the captain is assuming, but that's how I would choose it.
1 and 3 are equidistant. 2 is a little bit further away because it's the other side of the Kobayashi Maru.
Let's start on the port side because I like high ABV one.
Okay, you've targeted number 1 with a readied action to fire on the captain.
Can I mention that as well? No. You know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
You can imagine you've sort of done it as in you've seeing the situation. You've sort of set the target to that already. You're just waiting for me to confirm it.
I'm waiting for you to confirm it. However, if you don't confirm it, obviously I'll have to switch target. But that is what it is. I'm trying to take initiative.
You basically you've selected it on the targeting scope, hands free for the moment until you get told to blow it out of my view screen.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything until you say so. Unless I'm Bosh and decide to assault crew members randomly. The terrible effect, which is why I'm just going to make fun of you from now on. Hit him and beat up a human.
So,
need to
science,
get people on board. Yeah. Can I lock on to target?
You can. You lock onto 6. You can lock onto a maximum of 6, so presumably that's what you would like to do.
Yes.
You start locking on.
What is that maneuver?
That's grabbing people and drawing them across.
Locking onto them is a major action, so
It's just Mage Hand that comes out.
you don't get the opportunity to transport them just yet until the next round.
Okay.
Forever after, scooping people out of certain death by transport while swooping past dramatically shall be known as the Hand of Wraal.
Is it green and translucent?
You can also, if you have a touch attack, you can also use it while you're just.
Well, no, they just vanish somewhere else. It's like slapping a transponder on them. Bye bye.
Well, I was going to ask that. Can you just select to move them and then midway through the move, just like erase data?
The only certain particularly brutal species in the galaxy use that as an execution method.
They just end up in like New Jersey, and they're like, "Oh God, it's terrible there. No one wants to go to New Jersey
as well." But with apologies to anyone from New Jersey.
So at the moment, Bosh and Eric, are you having like a little scuffle on the bridge?
They are, and in fact, one last bit of information before the Romulans make their move.
before
Bosh,
we die.
From your position where you've come over to the communications terminal, you can see that he actually has his data pad plugged in. It's almost like it's an iPad charger cable plugged into the terminal.
Yeah, Chris, I agree. Also, have you issued a red alert yet?
Well, they said shields up.
Yeah, I said shield. Yes, I said shields up. Would you like me to, Mr. Varren?
I just want to hear it real quick, and then I'll learn shields up means red alert.
Whilst this is all going on, I shout over, Mr. Varren, red alert.
Aye, Captain. There we go. All right, I'm done.
Keep that handy. We may be using it again.
Can I use a momentum to do another, try and rip the cables out?
Yes.
New Zealand.
Yes. Give me a. No, do you know what? To just pull the cable out. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, you can just you spend a momentum.
And then you can use a second momentum to wrap it around his neck and strangle him.
And do you know what? I'm going
because we're still in school.
I'm going to spend threat.
This is really happening.
Oh, wait. You're going to spend a threat. How does that work?
Spend threat. So threat works kind of like, it's like my form of momentum, basically. I can use it to make things happen as well. As you rip the cord out, the data pad goes flying to the floor where it smashes.
We'll never know what was on it.
My father bought me that. You owe me one. Sorry.
Okay, we are round to the Romulans. The first Romulan warbird, the one that you happen to have targeted there, is going to fire its disruptor banks, now that it's fully decloaked, onto the Kobayashi Maru.
No.
This is going to be...
Well, that wasn't where I thought it was going.
Security and...
Color Varren a little surprised.
Well, we basically flew straight past it with our trousers down, and it decided to still go for the freighter.
I think because it has two buddies and each one of them is way bigger than us, they're like, no, we'll just kill them and then kill you.
Yeah. I presume the Romulans had some sort of game of rock, paper, scissors to see who shoots who shoots at us eventually.
And
they're like, didn't you lose that last bet? Yeah, you take care of the ship.
And it's a devastating blow on the Kobayashi Maru as the disruptor beam hits one of the pylons, and one of the nacelles flies off it. The second Romulan warbird.
That just means they can only go. They can still go to warp, but only in circles.
Yes.
They just end up where they started.
What donuts?
Exactly.
Second Romulan warbird is going to target yourselves.
All right.
That was the plan. That's all I
Is that 2 or 3?
With its disruptors. Bear in mind, you have no shields up.
Shields down for the moment for transport.
Yeah, well, we're doing
Mr.
the right
Davok,
thing,
I
right?
need those transporters, please.
That is...
I'm trying to lock on. Takes time, Captain.
2 hits. So let's
2
do this
hits.
properly. Well, 2 successes, should I say? Wow.
That's never good.
Wow. Just
Mr.
you
Varren,
see it
the
go
on
like-
fire symbol standing by.
it just keeps going to it's blinking now.
Okay, the ship takes 10 points of damage with 4 effects.
Well, that's good.
I have to work this out. It's got
It'd be
resistance of 4.
Breaches everywhere.
So,
Tea Party Fox is not making this easier. He just typed death count 1 into chat.
so I need to look at which systems are going down, because it's a lot.
Oh no.
It's too many dice for me to roll.
So, we've got... Engines are critical.
That's...
Computers are down.
Oh,
Oh, good.
Sensors are down.
I mean, that seems...
I mean, Davok's panels basically exploded in sparks.
Am I
wait.
still locking on, or is that going to put?
Hang on, there is another
Wait,
warbird.
I have a background for this.
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go.
That is the one.
Okay.
The other warbird is going to fire its disruptors at
We may not even get one, boys.
that gets 1 success. So, that's 3 and 2 effects. 5 and 2 effects. 5 and 3 effects. And 7 points of damage.
How many?
4 effects.
Do we know how many points our ship has in the first place? I don't think we went over this. I don't even think I know how many hit points the Defiant or the Livingston has.
It's an excellent question. So I'm using power at the moment as the hit points, which is probably wrong, because normally you would run down the shields and then start basically damaging every system.
It's a question. The way I've read it is, it's a question of when the shields are down, different systems start taking breaches, which means if more than, for example, like more than 5 points of damage are rolled in a single attack, you take a breach. You take multiple breaches, they become damaged. They become multiple damage, then become destroyed. So it's like you get different stages of damage, which knocks on like effects. So rather than actual basic like hit points, so you could have a devastating attack come into your engines at basically a 5 that basically goes straight through the shield and basically damages the engines or disrupts the engines. It's impacting. Okay. Or you could have one that slowly strips the shields away and then starts damaging the ships. Or that's how I read it.
That makes absolutely perfect sense to me.
Got it.
Let's go with that. And
This background is just to show that I'm doing so many things at once. I need this massive screen, and that I should get extra points from Lieutenant, Lieutenant, whoever is watching us.
Yeah, Sork's thinking you're just acing it here. There's lots of extra credit. Lots of extra credit, Mr. Varren. I can definitely see you sitting at the top table at the dinner time tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's because when you look at my other scores in Starfleet, you're going to be like, oh, he really needs to ace this test.
He's been swatting up all the extra panels he can pull out at the same time. Like, look at this, look at all this stuff I'm doing.
Because my writing is A, illegible, and B, mostly false.
A typed essay in future would earn my thanks, Mr. Varren.
So I can tell you, currently your ship has, in terms of breaches, based on that, 3 breaches in engines, 4 breaches in computers, 3 breaches in sensors, and 1 in communications.
I'm sorry, I've broken the ship.
That's a lot of pants.
It's a good job it's holographic.
But we are round to you.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
So we've manoeuvred. We have scienced.
We have a readied action to fire on the warbird, or not warbird, excuse me.
Yes, warbird.
You understand this, aren't you? I would probably, having seen 2 warbirds open fire, I would probably indicate that I want you to open fire on the warbird that's about to, hopefully to try and disrupt its weapons and stop it from shooting.
In which case, I would have to change target, but that's fine.
You can do that as a minor action. That's fine. But before we get to the ship-to-ship combat, I'd like us first of all to deal with what's happening on the bridge itself.
Still fighting.
Eric has dived down to where the data pad has crashed on the floor and is picking it up and he's trying to get it working again desperately. He seems to be in quite a state doing this.
I think as the command cadet at the time, I would be probably being quite severe with him. Eric, return to your station. What is going on?
Eric, I will call your father if you do not call him.
You will not be allowed to play with the big kids again.
So I would like... when I can find
give Bosh back his
make
toy.
Me use my dad voice, Eric.
I will turn this ship around if you do not.
I'm going to count to 3.
As you said this in such a controlling way, I would like you, Ed, to make a control and command roll, difficulty 3.
Okay, so control is 10, command is 4, so I need 14 to under, or 4s count as.
Now you can buy an extra dice with momentum if you like, because obviously with difficulty 3 it means you need to get 3 successes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll spend a momentum. That takes us to 4.
No, that means you can. Spending a momentum means you get one of the successes, so that basically brings it down to difficulty 2. So you need to get 2 successes. Right. Do you have any focuses you can use on this?
Diplomacy. I'm not being very diplomatic at the moment, but there's a fight going on my bridge.
I feel like that's pretty.
I can nerve pinch if you want me to do that.
I'm going to say no on the diplomacy.
I don't want Eric taken out yet. I want to find out what he's doing.
Happen to mutilate a different cadet if you. If you decide that you've just sick of this and you want to win so badly that we can kill someone.
Lieutenant Sook is making some copious notes on his data pad.
I scored 2 12s, which is 2 successes plus the momentum to make 3.
Hey!
Fantastic. Well
Dad voice.
Done.
That was a hefty one.
He basically moves back to his seat with such a commanding voice, and then realizes that he's just moved back to his seat. But he does look in real state at this moment.
I see. Normally, I'd go over and deal with him, but we've looking at the tactical display screen. We've got a bit of a situation here.
Well, if only you had a crewman who was right next to him that you could issue a command to.
Bosh really wants a second chance to beat the shit out of him.
Who is sat right next to him right now?
They stood over him, in fact. Bosh.
Well, over that same sort of height.
Well, he sat down. You're stood up.
Yeah. about the same sort of height.
And enjoy it while you can.
What to do here?
Yeah, you need to take your time because this is also your test.
Yeah. You're not kidding.
We're gonna flash back, and if you got like a massive scar in this hollow thing, we're gonna flash back, and you'll be like, "I patch on."
Bosh, make sure Eric stays in his seat. The next time, try not to assault him in the process.
Aye, sir.
I will have order on my bridge, even if there is disorder around it.
Can I lock the workstation?
That's a good idea. Yes, actually, I would imagine I would know that was a possible action. So maybe say to him, lock his workstation, transfer comms to your station, please, Bosh.
Okay, that would be a difficulty 0 task. I've got no problem with that. It would be a major action. But yes, you can transfer control to your own station and lock him out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's pretty dope, actually.
Find out what he's doing later, but in the meantime, let's make sure he does at least no harm to himself or us.
Indeed. Hi, Ross.
How is...
Good to see you.
Varren in the background just thinks like, I'm not really worried about his harm, and also, oh my gosh, it's my bay. Anyways, moving on.
So now we'll get back to the actual combat. So you've got your poxy little Hermes class that's severely damaged against 3. They haven't even got scratches on the paintwork. These Pterodactyls.
We're not going to be scratching the paint on these ones. I think our job is to try and distract them, grab as many survivors as we can, and get out of here quick.
Yeah.
How is my locking on process going in that last round?
You can transport 6 survivors if you wish.
Yes, I do.
You transport
Energize.
6 survivors over. That would be your major task.
Okay. As a minor, can I grab the pad thing that Eric dropped on the floor and just have a look at it to see if I can get it to work?
You can grab it so that you've got it. Examining it would be a major task.
I will grab it then.
Okay, you grab the pad.
So, Mr. Davok, keep that pad. Do not let it out of your sight.
Got you, Captain.
Okay, that's science. What you going to have everyone else doing, Captain?
We get to do everything else. Right, so tactical. You readied your action, didn't you?
We did, Captain.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is the moment that remaining Romulan warbird fires, I want you to fire basically, you see their power build-up happen and you shoot them because we're ready to go.
Okay.
Targeting their weapon system. I want their weapons disrupted so that we get a little bit more time to either get out of here or get a few more survivors.
I have a question for Stu at that point, not a momentum question, but I had a reddit action towards a ship that isn't the one he's asking me to target. So there's a minor action to switch targets. Can I also target specifically the weapon system that he's asking me to still fire?
It's all part of the attack is like targeting, either letting it randomize or specifying that you want a specific
It just changes the difficulty level, that's all, specifying the
In which case, I will do exactly as the captain ordered. I captain.
Okay. And are you wanting to fire now, or did you say you wanted to ready an action to fire on a particular trigger?
That's on... I don't believe that Captain Wraal said that we needed to ready the action. I believe he said fire now, correct?
Well, you already had a ready action from before, so what I'm saying is we're saving that for the moment that you see a weapon spike on the remaining warbird. That's when you fire.
Okay, all right. So I will go ahead and swap targets to number 2, Romulan warbird. I will go ahead and target their weapon systems, and then as soon as I see a spike, I will just be staring at my screen like this, apparently waiting for something oblique to see. And as soon as I do it, I'm gonna press it faster.
Okay. Just so I understand your thinking, why are you targeting number 2?
Number 2, I thought number 2 was the one that didn't fire on us.
It fired on the Kobayashi Maru.
So there was, but there was 2 that fired on us, correct?
Yes, that's correct. 1 and 3. Yeah. No, I was wondering why you were selecting 2. Now I know. Lieutenant
Is that
Sork,
not what Captain Wraal asked? There was one that hadn't fired on us, and that was
that's my mistake. I understood that there was one that hadn't fired yet, but if she was saying that they've all 3 have fired, then yeah, just keep the targeting on the one that's shooting at the Kobayashi Maru. Let's try and keep that alive briefly while we grab some more survivors if we can.
Understood.
Okay. So that's your ready date. Okay. So, and anything else you want to do? That's for the captain.
So if we're continuing, can we continue evasive actions to keep up with difficulty, to keep us moving?
You can. You're
kind of dancing around it whilst...
you understand, I mean, there's no real cover, unless you want to use the Kobayashi Maru as a cover.
Operation Meat Shield.
And given you're in the middle of transporting, obviously you need to stay within range. I'm going to make this a difficulty 3 task.
I have a question before you do this. As a tactical, are we in a position to get around the other side of the Kobayashi, not the other side of the Kobayashi Maru, but to put the 3 Romulan warbirds in a line to where, or at least 2 of them in a line to where we stay in a range to where we can still beam people up from the Kobayashi Maru.
We could attempt that as an attack pattern instead of evasive.
Exactly. So it'd make it so at least one of them or 2 of them couldn't shoot at us without hitting one of theirs.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, you know that it wouldn't take much for them just to manoeuvre slightly to one side or up or down.
It was just an idea. Sending it to the captain.
It's good thinking. But yeah, with space being a 3-dimensional area, it's not really going to work that way.
See what GM Stu did there was be very nice about it, but what he really meant was your idea was shit.
No, I think it was. Honestly,
I'm kidding.
I think that was a really good idea, and had it have been a single plane like at sea, that absolutely. But because you've got that extra dimension, that's why it's not going to work in this instance.
You could also imagine that the Romulans are probably decloaked, staggered as well, thinking that stops anyone moving around.
It makes total sense. I'm just thinking, like, it's weird without a map, but you can't really do a 3D map in space, right? Like that's impossible.
It's not really easy, no. Okay. So we're going for evasive manoeuvres. Difficulty 3, please.
Okay, can I use some momentum to buy another dice?
You can. Well, you can use momentum to buy a success.
Oh, a success. Okay, then I'll do that. So we'll get a success straight away.
Okay. Have you got any focus that might help? You can use your focus, even though it's a holographic.
I've got Helm Operations as a focus.
Yes.
Which I imagine is more a case of just, I know...
Yeah. No, I think Helm Operations would give you experience of different manoeuvres and tactics and things like that. So, yes, I'm going to say yes.
Very generous, thank you. So it'll be Control, I think that's Control and Conn is evasive.
Control and Conn, yep. So you need 1 more success.
So that's 14 I need to get. Oh, and I've got a 14 and a 6, so that's 2 successes.
Nice.
Successes. Fantastic. So you gain back 1 of your momentums. Nice. And yes, you do your evasive manoeuvres. Anything else you can think of?
Right. Have we already transported the first 6 aboard? in which case, lock on 6 more survivors, please.
The
Aye.
transport cycle is taking place in this round.
Right.
Oh, okay. So we're getting the first 6 this round.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that leave me a major action?
No, that is your major action, is transporting them. You used your minor action to grab the pad, but your major action is executing the transport.
Excellent. In that case, is anyone able, whilst we're recycling the transporter, is anyone able to raise our shields so we can take a hit while we power up the transporters for another pass?
The only person who can do that is tactical. I mean,
Do I have an action left?
Science
or a minor action?
would have been able to, but for doing the transport, an ops would have been able to, were it not for transferring command, transferring communications.
So, Cadet Varren transfer targets and fire. Do I?
You can transfer target. That's a minor action. You can raise shields, or you can ready an action. You can only do one of the two.
I will, as Captain, I'll say raise shields.
Understood, Captain. And then I will stop target or stop charging phasers and hit shields. I mean, assume you
phasers are charged.
I'm learning how things work.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, you're not ready that action, so when they start firing, you're not going to fire now.
No, understood.
But yes,
I'll just be like, good call, Captain.
Raise the
if you can see through the smoke, raise the shields.
I can tell you have 10 points of shields.
Oh, that's good.
Well, considering they did 14 points of damage last time.
We took a battering to swoop the first 6 survivors, so over this we'll just...
No. We're doing what you can.
I'm sorry to say, I don't think we'll get them all.
And for what it's worth, you have resistance 4 on this ship.
Resistance 4, is that like a... It mitigates 4 points of damage?
Yeah, exactly.
Those shields? Okay.
Yeah, the damage that Stu rolls, our resistance basically reduces that, and the ending amount, if it's 5 or more, it impacts the ship, bang, and we get a damage. Or if it's less than that, it burns away our shields.
Okay.
And do you know what? I'm probably going to need a dice roller because it's a lot of damage that these things do.
Okay, I will be right back. I have to, as you would say, go to the loo.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, before the Romulans take their action, and I think this is probably a good time for it anyway, let's take a quick 5-minute break anyway.
Okay.
And then the Romulans will respond. Dun, dun, dun. And we'll see
then our game is over
back
today.
In 5 minutes. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Minutes.
Sorry about this.
No worries. And we are back live again, all refreshed and bio-braked up. So, we're in the middle of this battle, but Cadet Eelin, I think we need a supplemental log, don't we?
Cadet's log, supplemental. The Kobayashi Maru simulation is justifiably feared. This is tough. So far, we're across the wrong side of the Romulan neutral zone, trying to rescue a Federation freighter with 3 Romulan Dederidex warbirds looming up on us. Our additional cadet crew member, Eric, is acting particularly unusually, though thanks to the quick actions of Mr. Varren and Mr. Bosh, we seem to have stopped him from potentially sabotaging our efforts to best the no-win scenario. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm not sure how we're going to win. But then, how do you win the no-win scenario?
Nice.
I'm going to say Oscar performance so far. Also, I'm going to say I didn't realize you had muted it and gone to like the cut screen. Anyways. Never mind.
Fantastic. So, it is the Romulans who are about to act. And indeed, where just before you had 2 Romulans firing on you and the other one firing on the Kobayashi Maru, it doesn't take much to realise that now all 3 disruptor banks are trained on your ship. As the first Romulan fires, you do have shields up now, which is good. The first Romulan fires.
All hands brace for impact.
And misses.
Whoa!
We didn't need to move.
The second, well, thanks to the evasive manoeuvres, of course. The second.
And you're the small guy, dip, dodge.
Fires and does manage to score a hit against the shields, doing.
What is that?
Mr. Varren, that's where you shout out shields holding, Captain, hopefully.
I don't know yet, Captain. Waiting on the rolls, Captain. 1 second.
Everything's a fire.
Yes, your shields take 4 points of damage, so your shields are down by 40%.
Shields down by 40, Captain.
And
I don't know why it became that voice, but whatever. Won't happen again.
There is some feedback in the EPS conduits as the GM uses one of his threat tokens, and your warp system has been disabled as a result.
Oh, great. Well, there's my plan out the window.
I'm good with warp core thingies, Captain.
Fantastic. Mr. Varren, damage report.
Well, hang on, because there is another Romulan to fire at you.
Oh, good.
Report incoming. Looks bad, sir.
Ooh, and with 2 successes,
That hits.
they score a definite
Oh
hit.
no.
Don't say, oh my god, when you run time.
I'm glad this is on a holodeck.
4, 3, 8, 5, 9, 5. 11, so that's 7. So you have your shields are now gone.
Shields are collapsed.
Do we take any hull damage?
We will see, because yes, you have 1 breach on the structure, and your engines are taking a severe pounding.
Okay, Captain. Shields offline. 1 breach on hull damage, and the warp core is offline, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Varren.
See, I did good there. I tried to.
That was good. I like that. Was a good damage report. It was succinct. It was to the point. It was the information I needed.
The only better would have been like, we're in the shit.
without screaming, ideally, because there's enough screaming going on the deck where the breach just happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
just making more notes.
I need to change to this one, I believe, is correct. That's the correct background given the situation.
Definitely on fire.
Okay, Captain
This is
Wraal,
fine.
what do you want your crew to do?
So it's another round. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Fantastic. Right. So have Mr. Davok, have our transporters locked on to any of the remaining crew?
Yes.
No, because you've only just transported. You've just completed
We've
transport.
got 6, Captain. We have saved 6.
Okay.
9
Did you say?
remaining.
Did you say that you have some training in warp technologies and repair thereof?
I have a specific focus in warp core thingies.
Okay, Mr. Davok, try rerouting power. Get me warp drive back as quickly as possible.
Yes, Captain. Let me do that for you.
Take power out of anywhere, especially in Mr. Varren's holodeck simulations. The Orion slave girls, you know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How did you know about that?
Excellent, Mr. Varren.
So, with warp core thingies, given the damage that has been done,
Why'd you make
to
that
the warp
mine,
drive,
Ed? Why couldn't it have been Bosh's?
He's the one who sold them to you.
That's
Davok,
fair.
you do know that you can't do anything from the bridge, and rerouting power is not going to achieve anything. It needs a repair, which needs to take place actually inside the warp chamber itself. Now, this is quite relevant because anyone entering the warp chamber without it having been shut down for 24 hours in advance will die.
Oh, Davok.
Yes, Captain.
I realise that you have no emotions, being a Vulcan. I need you to go and fix the warp core.
It seems logical, as I am trained in warp core thingies, that I would be the one to go. So I will go down and repair the thingies.
Very good, Mr. Davok. Thank you very much. Helm?
Nice.
Well,
Nice knowing you, Mr. Davok.
Let's deal with what happens with Davok first before we move on to other stations. So, Davok, you use your minor action to get yourself down to the warp core and to climb inside the reactor chamber, sealing your own doom. You know you will not possibly survive. So, I don't know, first command, and you're already sending your crew members to their own deaths.
Pick the Vulcan. They complain less when you order them to die. The only other ones who are good at that are Klingons, who actually volunteer for it.
Actually, Chris, we're working on a way to get all of the majors and minors in the academy that we did. So that might be a thing that you will see in the future.
So this is going to be a difficulty 5 task to repair the warp.
Okay.
You get 1 success for your warp core thingies. I'm giving you that one.
Okay.
Would you like to use any momentum?
Yes.
Spend it all.
Spend it all. I have captain's orders to use all the running that I did down.
You can only spend 1 momentum to get another success.
Okay,
Question.
so that's 2.
GM Stu, I have a question. Is there any way to assist? I have not of specific warp core structures, but good engineering background and stuff like that. Is there any way that I can assist her from Mycon and down to where she is?
Yes.
Using Starship Engineering, Advanced Analysis, or one of those two.
You can assist by speaking to her over the comms from the engineering station to help guide her. So you don't need to sacrifice yourself to assist.
Okay.
But you can, yes, you can assist. So you do need 3 more successes.
Okay.
You've used your focus.
Right.
Can I use momentum to assist, and so she would only need 2?
I don't believe you can with an
Okay.
assist. No.
Okay.
You can only get a maximum of 5 dice is the maximum you can.
So I'm rolling 3 dice.
No, you're rolling 2.
I'm rolling 2.
And
You get 2 successes.
Roll against. So let's have Usher's assist first. Now,
So I have to roll.
This is going to be control and engineering.
Yes.
Okay. Not great,
Yours will be different, Amy, just so you know.
but I rolled 2.
You roll 1 dice.
Yeah, you're assisting, not performing.
Okay, got it. Understood. Oh, guys. No, hang on. I actually need to reload this because it wasn't actually rolling it. There we go. That's a failure on my part.
Okay, and knowing it's a failure, you can
There's
spend...
no way she...
Well, there is. It might not be lost yet because you can use 1 momentum. You can only do this once per scene amongst all of you. but you can use 1 momentum to re-roll a roll if you want.
Make that happen.
Yeah, understood. Re-rolling.
Re-roll that
And
roll.
it is a 6. It's an 11.
Right.
It's on the dot. It's holy shit. The first one was a 13, which didn't do it, but all right. Got it.
Okay. So Davok, you need 2 successes from 2 dice, and this is going to be engineering, of course, but because of the situation you are in and the amount of pressure, I'm going to get you to roll daring rather than control.
Okay, so together I have to hit 13 or under.
So you get 2 13s or under.
Come on, Amy.
The first one's a 10,
Oh my god. I'm so...
and the next one's a 9.
Yeah!
And the warp core flickers into life.
And Davok is
Davok
just disintegrated.
expires on the floor.
Davok expires.
So you haven't really died, obviously, because this is a simulation. What the simulation does is it just moves you to a room where you can't communicate with the others, Davok.
Lift music.
Yeah, basically. It's put you in a holding area.
Go back to critical
Essentially.
systems.
Seeing on the system's display the power literally going beep, 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 beep. I'll reach over, point at the common.
Amy, I love it.
Lay in a
Love it.
warp course out of here. Maximum warp. Engage.
Okay, so you're in combat. I'll get you to roll the con because you've got good stats in con. I would like you.
Bosh is falling asleep right now.
We'll make navigation
Just leaned way back.
what's it, 0? Difficulty 0.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It looked weird on my screen. I was like, did he tilt his camera like in a weird angle?
So this
Then I
is
realized
going,
the background is virtual.
this is going to be daring and con.
And luckily, my daring is 10 and my con is 4. So 14.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, this.
2 dice here. How many successes are we
Oh,
needing?
sorry. Yes, this is a difficulty 2.
52. Okay.
You
Can I
do
buy
have
momentum to add a
momentum left.
dice?
Yeah, you can buy a success. However, I'm going to counter it with a threat.
Okay. I do have bold as a con talent. So after I roll, I can buy another threat or give the games master another threat and re-roll one of my dice.
You can choose to do that. Yes, absolutely. But we'll see how it goes first of
Let's see
all.
what we get first of all.
Yeah. So it's
So yeah,
difficulty 2.
14s we need. 1 success, 1 failure. So I'm going to give the games master a threat to re-roll 1 dice that's failed.
Got the threat.
13, 2 successes.
Okay. And with that threat, you've pushed it with the damage already done to the engines. The con station, just as you enter into warp, the con station blows up. Fortunately, it's a holographic character, but the ship is
We didn't like him anyways.
at warp and out of control.
Oh,
And
Not good, Captain. Shit looks
Yeah.
weird here.
And at this point, the lights on the bridge come up. Davok, you find yourself back on the bridge as well as the holographic characters disappear. The smoke clears and everything stands down and the computer program basically pauses. Lieutenant Sook says, "Everybody, wait here," and steps through the arch.
She steps through the arch. I want to walk towards
Remind me.
Captain Wraal in this sense, and just want to say, this was very enjoyable, and you did very well. And I want to offer him my hand as a handshake.
Well, I take it, but before we do it, I say, Eric, what are you doing with that command console? Davok, come here with a moment. I asked Davok to stand with me while we asked Eric exactly what was going on. Because basically, if we don't get the answer we want, Davok, how are you with Vulcan mind melds?
No, not great, Captain.
Well, Eric doesn't know that, so
Captain,
if we don't get the answer we want, Davok is going to draw the truth out of his skull, whether he wants it to come out or not.
I'm gonna walk to Bosh and just shake his hand and also be like, "I got 5. She kills him."
I'll take that action.
All right.
So Eric is he's visibly shaking. He doesn't know what to do, but he's also saying absolutely nothing.
Davok, find out what he knows.
Do I still have the computer thing pad?
You still have the data pad, yes.
Can I see if I can get this working before attempting?
Are we in the same scene?
Good. I do have a focus in computers, if that assists me.
I mean, Bosh has already physically assaulted him. I was going to now mentally assault him and just complete the tick list.
Take the non-violent action.
I mean, Varren is happy to. He has the fire at will talent. He's just happy to take him out right now. I don't think I have a phaser.
I don't think they let you go into training simulations.
I don't think they do. I would have killed him earlier had that been the case.
I'm going
I would have been just.
Give me an insight and science.
I had the quick to action talent. It would have just been
difficulty 2.
Okay, so I can roll 2.
No, it means you need 2 successes.
You always roll 2.
But you say you've got a focus in computers, so that will give you 1 success.
Okay. So it's what was the skills again?
So
insight and
science.
Insight and science. So you get 14.
Anything under your science.
Yes, 1
counts.
Success.
Okay.
Anything under your science counts as 2 successes too.
That's correct.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
With the focus.
So yes, with that and the computers, that gives you 2 successes. So yes, you managed to get the data pad not really working again, but at least readable, and you can see that it is essentially a fairly simple bit of coding, but essentially a subroutine that would have overridden the programming on the simulation to make the Romulan warbirds, well, A, have no shields, and B, have virtually no power in their disruptors.
Eric was trying to cheat.
It's Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I'll relay this quietly to Eelin.
Wait, Kirk's story is canon in our game, correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, God, you did this poorly and worse than the first person to do it.
Yes, I mean, taking the pad from Davok, I'll look at it, but I'll look at it like I'm looking at it carefully, even though I maybe don't know exactly what it is. Eric.
That's how I do most things at my job.
Next time you try to cheat the system to make the team win, maybe tell the captain what you're planning first. Push the pad onto him and basically turn around.
Okay, and as you do this, Lieutenant Sook comes back into the room and says, Cadet Wraal, with me? And he turns and walks out the room.
Head teacher's office.
Assuming you're following him.
Yes, well, where else have I got to go today?
Is there another commanding officer in the room?
Nope.
Or is it just us cadets?
Nope, there's just you cadets.
Shit. Okay.
It was my test. You guys are just helping out for extra digits.
Yeah, but he almost fucked us.
Well, as Wraal goes through the archway. As you go through the arch, you realise there's actually 2 security officers stood either side of the arch. As Lieutenant Sork takes you to a briefing room. Whilst he's talking to you, what would the other 3 of you like to do?
I'm gonna punch Eric in the face.
I'm just gonna see if I can see that happening. I want to. I've got a bold security talent. I don't think
All
it's
right,
quite
okay,
ready,
all
but
right.
I want to just sort of.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm not even if he's going to do that action, I'm not going to roll against it. I will attempt the action, but I will let him succeed.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Oh, you'll let him.
I'll do it. I'll just...
going for it has definitely made your point to Eric.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
he is absolutely terrified at this point.
Okay, that was all, and I'm say Bosh and be like, all right, get it. Also, thank you for trying to kill him before I did. That's it.
Generally speaking, you're just going to sit and wait and...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else to do. I mean,
I'm going to spend a bit of time just getting to know the other 2 a little bit more, mainly so that I've got a better idea of what things they might be after at future points.
Okay. Do you want to do that here?
Can do, or we can do it off. Just sort of the types of things that you drink, your sort of preferred hobbies. Yeah, just send me a
Holodeck programs would you particularly like?
Yeah, that kind of thing. There's just sort of
keep your mouth shut.
Vulcan love slave number 3.
Yeah, you're not going to get much out of
I
Davok.
haven't watched any of them since number 2. They ruined the original, and I won't do it again.
But maybe
Putting
there's
plot in, eh?
maybe there's some science books that Davok is particularly interested in, or
No, I feel like I would want to do the
some
same thing.
sort of Ponfar artifact.
Okay. Well, you chat and get to know each other that bit better. That's absolutely fine. Wraal, he takes you into a briefing room where he sits behind a desk, leaving you standing to attention.
You're standing at attention in a
ordinarily-
room with...
Ordinarily, you'd
Wraal,
be told...
look at my screen.
You'd be told at ease, however, you're aware he doesn't.
Oh.
He just says...
I'll remain respectfully silent and await my appraisal.
And he looks at you and says, report?
4 pence. Sorry.
Sir, the Kobayashi Maru is believed lost in the neutral zone. 6 survivors were rescued, and we beg to report the loss in action of Cadet Davok, who gave his life. Gave their life in service of the Federation and the ship's company. Last seen, we were heading out of the engagement area at warp, hopelessly out of control, but with damage repair teams attempting to regain control and guide us back to Federation space.
Do you have anything to add?
So I can only say that the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few.
I very much... I didn't hear this, but I very much like Wraal.
Lieutenant Sork lets out a very deep, long sigh and says, I am certain it has come to your attention that one of your crew members was attempting to cheat.
I'm aware of this, sir.
Why did you not bring this to my attention?
I've not finished my report yet, sir, with respect.
Continue.
We believe that Cadet Eric was attempting to hack the system in order to allow our team to gain an unfair advantage and cheat the unwinnable scenario. Although we did not know this at the time, I've told him that I would not report it any further, as I believe he is genuinely terrified of the potential for a Vulcan mind meld to find out exactly what's going to happen, exactly what he knows.
Okay, he's definitely going to raise an eyebrow at you for that one.
He's part of my team, sir. Although he did wrong, he did it for the right reasons. I won't condemn him for that.
Mr. Wraal, I am certain you are aware it is easy to justify any action, no matter how heinous, by claiming it is for the greater good. In Starfleet, we hold our cadets, and indeed our officers, to a much higher standard. As at this moment, I won't be taking any action against you or the other cadets. Cadet Stallman, however, will be ejected from Starfleet Academy.
Eric. I tried, Eric.
Send him out the airlock.
That's when you fail a test. That's how they get rid of you at Starfleet. It's why there's not overcrowding in starships. It's why there's only 1,000 people in the Enterprise.
I would seriously encourage you in future considerations to consider morality your first and foremost priority. In Starfleet, we have to be seen to be doing the right thing at all times, which is much more difficult than simply doing the right thing.
Permission to speak, sir?
Granted.
Would you say that one can be bold with yourself, but must be cautious with the safety of others?
I would say each situation needs to be evaluated on its own merits.
So though this may be my ship and my crew, things might change.
In theory, however, cadet, you would do well to heed the advice and guidance of your superiors.
I shall take it on board, sir.
Understood.
Insane, and now we know why he's only a commander.
Now, with regard to your handling of the Kobayashi Maru situation and test, certainly you held yourself to the right principles, the protection of civilians, and indeed you came up with some creative solutions, which is always to be encouraged. I am pleased to tell you that on this occasion, yourself and your remaining cadet crewmen have passed the simulation.
Thank you, sir. The ship is only as good as its crew. Likewise, its commander.
Indeed. Dismissed.
What's that mean?
I spin on my heel and swiftly exit his office.
Indeed. And as this is happening,
visibly deflate on getting back into the corridor.
Two security officers come into the simulation room and escort Eric Stallman out. And indeed, Wraal, if you're heading back to the simulation, you pass him in the corridor. His head is down. There appear to be tears in his eyes.
Eric?
He's being escorted away. There's no opportunity to chat with him. You can shout something at him in the corridor if you have no dignity.
I would have shouted or commented as I went past that if he reapplied as an enlisted crewman, I might consider him on my ship for his at least for his zeal in making sure the team wins.
Okay.
Academy Washouts can come back in as enlisted.
They can.
And
absolutely.
you see the lieutenant just writing shit down furiously as you say that.
Transport New Zealand immediately.
And indeed, you enter back onto the Hollow Suite, and the bridge of your first command as we bring ourselves back to the present day and the bridge of your current ship, the USS Livingston. And there is a wry smile on Captain Liera's face as you finish telling the tale of your Kobayashi Maru experience. Captain Liera stops and thinks for a moment, opens a mouth to speak, when suddenly there is an incoming hail from Starbase 80. Captain Liera calls for it on screen, and on screen you see a female admiral looking quite concerned, quite serious. Captain Liera says, "Admiral Janeway, it's very nice to see you again." And the Admiral says, "Captain Liera, one of our ships is missing." And that's where we end it for this evening.
Starring Kate Mulgrew.
Stu.
So there we are.
Stu. Fantastic.
Oh, no,
Thank you,
brilliant.
Stu.
Wonderful,
well done,
Stu.
all of you.
Wonderful, Stu.
What an amazing, amazing crew. And of course, your captain this evening. Brilliant.
One
Mr. I don't
guy.
want to be a Captain Wraal.
So there we go.
I've killed people, you know, only sort of holographically, and they're only Vulcans.
Thank you, Paul and Chris.
Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
thanks for sticking with us.
Indeed. Yeah, so hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I
CJ.
know I really enjoyed it. And,
That was good
fun.
fun. No, it was good. First time in that system that works. Yeah, that's
and we'll get slicker with the system. We'll learn it much more readily as we go along.
Don't everyone leave stream or leave Zoom when we end stream, just because I have something to ask you guys.
Okay, well, we'll
I
say
can't.
goodbye to our viewers before we do. So, everyone wave, and we'll see everyone in a fortnight.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Bye.
God, thank you guys so much for hanging out.